You know, if we're reading the polls correctly, it seems like the most popular ships that show up on this show are Spirit and Flutters.
Well, that's because those are the two most ships that we usually highlight. And here's another one. Terrace Gifts by Blazzinginferno. Chapter 1, Perfect Plan. Spike rested on his elbows on his bedroom windowsill. Snow-covered Ponyfield looked so small from 3 stories up, especially with the evening's dim light obscuring so many details. He knew ponies all over town were just now setting up their lanterns and stoking their fireplaces. Soon, the little pinpoints of light dotting the scene before him would be the only thing illuminating the night. The dense cloud overhead left the days gray and the nights moonless. Far below the window, you could make out 3 trails of hoofprints in the snow that converged to the castle's foot doorstep. Twinkle on the glass traced each trail, one to the rolling hills that hid Sweet Apple Acres from sight, one to the unmistakably Cape State Sugar Cube corner downtown, and one to Carousel Boutique, where the most beautiful pony in the world lived. Peaceful moments like this almost made time stand still. Time didn't actually do that, though. Time moves swiftly, especially around here. Years flew by, friendships were had, friendships grew even stronger. Twilight was more than a unicorn now. Spike was more than a baby dragon. The last few months were anything to go by. Rarity was fast becoming more than his friend. Twilight called up to him from down the hall.
Spike! Everybody's here. Aren't you coming?
Spike backed away from the window and nodded.
Yeah, I'll be right there, Twilight.
He took one last glance in the mirror and ran a hand through the spikes on his head, patted a large wooden chest next to his closet. Hearth's Eve was just 3 weeks away, and the chest jam-packed with gems meant he had no trouble affording gifts for all his friends. This year, he could get them all something extra special and still have enough left over to really wow Rarity. They've been spending more and more time together lately, and whenever they walked down Main Street, he noticed her glancing at a certain shop window and the shiny new sewing machine on display within. He paused the edge of the chest with his elbow, and then headed to the door.
Just 3 weeks, Rarity. Just 3 more weeks.
Downstairs in the main hall, the 6 closest friends were engaged in their usual chatter. Only Starlight Glimmer was missing, thanks to her spending the holidays with Sunburst. He strolled down the staircase, running his hand over the garland-wrapped banister as he did so. From the wreaths hanging on the doors to the candy canes decorating the walls, the castle never looked more festive. He paused at the last step and waved hello.
Hey, everybody! Who's the help for some Spike's famous hot chocolate?
Around here slipped the room, along with an unanimous
Thanks, Spike!
Reddy held up a hoof.
Oh, do you remember to add a little extra cinnamon to mine, won't you, Spiky?
He winked. Sure thing, Rarity. She masked a smile and, unless he was mistaken, held eye contact for a moment longer than she intended to.
Thank you.
A few hours later, they were all seated around the table with empty mugs and full bellies. Spike reclined in his chair, supremely happy with how the evening had turned out. Tonight was more than just a good time with his friends. Tonight was a sign of things to come. After all these years of quietly trying to figure out how to win Rarity's favor, she seemed to be figuring it out for him. She was seated to his right, talking about her latest trip to Manhattan in that melodious voice of hers. She'd been next to him all night, didn't seem capable of going more than 10 minutes without giving him a quick glance and a warm smile. Twilight's hoof gently kicked at his left foot. Glanced over and saw her eyes move from him to Rarity and back again. Her smile said it all.
It's really happening, Spike.
He smiled back.
I know, isn't it great?
Applejack gave him a yawn.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I'm fixing to come all night.
First I nodded.
I should go too. Angel's been very needy ever since his ear straightening operation. You might need an extra lullaby to fall asleep tonight.
Spike bit his tongue to keep himself from grinning. Seeing that annoying bunny stuck a bed rest with both ears in cast was still one of the funniest things he had seen in months.
I agree.
Fireside sighed to stare at the table, her smile gone.
I just wish he wouldn't fight me about taking his medication. Those pills were so expensive. I can't afford to buy more if he just keeps spitting out the ones the vet gave me.
I'll feel for a Sugar Cube,
Applejack replied.
Winter's laying enough time down on the farm. I'll just get the harvest. It's just what it should have been.
Twilight tapped a hook from the table. Applejack, Fluttershy, if either of you needs a little help from your friends, Well, that's okay, Twilight. All the apples have been through worse and come out stronger for it. First I nodded.
I'm okay too. Thanks for offering, though.
Rarity cleared her throat. Ahem. Be honest with me. I'd like to suggest a little something that might ease the burden that Hearthwarming Eve places on every pony's time and resources. What if we were to do an anonymous gift exchange this year? Each of us puts our name in a hat. Every pony draws one name and gives that friend a gift. No pony knows who's getting a gift or who gave them the gift for the exchange is over. Spike guessed, but Applejack tickled. Well, boy, it's a heart-warming miracle. Rarity said something, and I'm agreeing with it.
I'm in,
Piggy shouted. This makes the gift giving an extra mysteriously fun.
Totally. This will make my last-minute shopping so much easier, Rainbow Dash said. Hers cut their host a smile.
If it's only one gift, I could try doing something half-made this year. I've never had enough time to do that before.
All Spike's successes died in his throat. If it's easier on my friends, then how can I say no, right? Twilight held a hoof out to Applejack.
Can we use your hat, Auntie? Spike, could you get some paper and quills?
A ream of paper landed on the table, and Piggy grinned.
Way to have you!
Spike chewed on his claws. This was really happening. If he drew Rarity's name, he was set. He'd buy her the biggest, fanciest sewing machine known to pony kind, and have her name engraved on the side. In under a minute, Applejack's hat was upended in the center of the table, filled with slits of paper. Rarity retrieved the hat and mixed the papers around with her maxit. Finally, she drew a slit of paper and glanced at the name written on it and crumpled it up.
Would you care to go next, Spiky?
Sure. If only they weren't watching him. If only he could stick his nose in the hat and smell out the perfume-laced writing. Instead, he pointed at the first paper his claw touched and passed the hat to Twilight. Quick glance at the paper told him everything he needed to know. He dropped Fluttershy, and now his mission was to figure out who drew Rarity and convince them to trade with him through any means necessary. One look at Twilight knew it took to know who she was drawing. Between their familial bond and her total lack of a poker face, Spike knew he'd be unwrapping a very nice book on Hearthwarming Eve. Pinky came next, and honestly Spike had no idea what to make of her reaction. She simply took an emotionless look at the paper, stuffed it in her mouth, and mumbled something about tasty secrecy. The hat was passed from pony to pony. None of them gave obvious hints to who they'd draw. Until at last it was Applejack's turn. Applejack's eyebrows sought a gasp as he stifled a gasp. Rainbow left her chair and hovered over the hat.
Ha! You drew me, didn't ya?
Applejack covered the paper with a hoof. I don't say nothing. The whole thing's anonymous, and I'll keep it that way.
Oh, yeah? Then you better not get me something fruit-related. Maybe I'll give every pony here a whole bottle of cider for free, just in case they've got a rainbow-maned Pegasus to shout for.
Spike gnawed on his claws. Applejack had to be the one. Stuffing for Rainbow was as easy as grabbing the closest knick-knack with the words Dairy Do or Wonderbolt on it. Stuffing Rarity, on the other hand, was like trying to get something for Princess Celestia. She already owned just about everything she actually wanted. The only gifts left to get were the ones she didn't know she wanted yet. Spike knew Rarity, though. He knew without a doubt she wanted that new sewing machine, but didn't want to splurge on it for some reason. That's where he came in. He tuned out Applejack and Rainbow's continuing banter and glazed at his beloved. So help him, this would be Rarity's best heartwarming ever. All he had to do was coax a little name trade out of a certain Stetson-wearing farm pony. Chapter 2, Morning Fritters. Spike squinted in the morning sunlight. Only one hill stood between him and Street of the Lakers. A hill that had been transformed into a mountain of snow that clung to his feet like molasses. A freezing cold wind blew across the hill, instilling him the exact opposite feelings that accompanied last night's party. Instead of basking in the warmth of home, friends, and a future romance, worry chilled him to the core. What if Applejack wouldn't trade with him, or even admit that he had drawn Rarity's name? What if he really hadn't, and he was tricking out here for nothing? Worries aside, he still had to try. He'd been trying for years, and one for another, and at last, Rarity seemed to be taking notes. He could let some dumb gift exchange ruin the last moments of sharing long glances over tea and longer walks through Ponyville. I'm getting you that sewing machine for Hearthwarming Eve, Rarity. If it's the last thing Hi out, it's back! Spike spotted Applejack on top of the hill, just as he lost his footing and fell backwards. The snow, for all the trouble it was to walk through, at least made it for a soft landing. He stared at the sky from his new vantage point, the star of an impromptu snow angel, and listened to Applejack's approaching hoofsteps. She stared down at the dragon-shaped presents he made and grinned. Still working on your snow legs?
Being sure doesn't help. Can't I just melt myself a pass? The grass will grow back, eventually.
How about I offer you a lift instead? Spike picked himself up, brushed the lingering snow off his scales, climbed onto her back. The snow mountain he pretended to scale didn't look so formidable from up here.
Thanks, AJ. Actually, I was coming to the farm to see you. Good, because that's where we're headed.
A few minutes later, Spike had seated at the Apple family kitchen table, his hands held up to heat of the stove.
Thanks for the ride, Applejack. It feels so good to get in and out of the cold.
Applejack had her head buried in the pantry.
Nothing to it, Spike. How about a little snack to warm up those scales? You look colder than an apple in a icicle. That sounds great,
Without even thinking, he looked over her shoulder at what he assumed would be the current selection of snacks. Instead, he saw a disturbing amount of empty space. The cells weren't bare, but compared to the usual amount of overflowing nature at the apple's pantry, they might as well have been.
On second thought, I'm good. I had a really big breakfast.
Well, you ain't starving, if that's what you're thinking.
Starving? Why would I think?
Applejack shut the pantry door.
I know you're trying to be nice and all, but you're not leaving this house with some warm food in your belly. We ain't so hard up that we can't treat your guests right.
Spike raised a claw to start an objection, despite having no idea how to voice one. All he could think of was the nearly bare shelves in the pantry.
Applejack smiled. How about we make something fresh? It'll heat up the house, but everybody else can use a little something too. You in the mood for fritters? Brown berries? Pie? Guaranteed you got all about the same number of apples in them.
Spike touched his claws together.
That all sounds good. Can at least help you bake?
Last time I let you do that, you just about wrecked the kitchen.
I was just overreaction. I cook for Twilight all the time. I'll do exactly what you tell me.
She nodded.
Fritters it is.
Hours full of prep work flew by. Spike found himself leaning over a bowl of batter with a whisk in hand and he had the oven on his back. Behind him, Applejack was pulling the tray out of the oven. He should have known that Applejack wouldn't stand for making 2 fritters, or even a dozen. By his count, they had prepared 20 so far, and there was still plenty of batter left. Sounds like supper at my house. Applejack set a plate across the counter towards him. Spike eyed the fritters as golden brown crust and beat in a sugary, mouth-watering scent.
That looks amazing, AJ.
She passed him a fork next.
Well, don't just stand there staring. Let me know how it tastes. I'll play a up with the bear.
Spike handed her the bowl, took the fork, and dug in.
Wow, it tastes amazing, too. I never wanted to have one fresh out of the oven before. I reckon a buzz of ponies down to Market Haven either. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to run them all down there and see if I can sail out before they get cold. I'd buy one. I'd buy 3.
Not eating all the product yourself is half the battle, Sugar Cube. So, there's a reason why I was out in the snow looking for you. It's about this gift exchange as we're doing, and can I count on you keeping a secret under your hat? Spike paused to swallow.
Sir, I was going to ask you if you wanted to try, because I drew Twilight's name. What darn lazy am I supposed to get a princess for Hearth Eve? You got Twilight?
I can't just make every pony some apple fritters like I normally do.
I gotta make something special just for Twilight. I can actually afford.
Spike just stared at her. She paused her mixing and waved a hoof in front of his eyes. You're supposed to come in, Sugar Cube.
Got any bright ideas? He blinked. For Twilight? You feeling okay?
He blinked again and thought back to the bare pantry cells. Securing Rarity's name would have to wait.
Okay, I can help. Getting Twilight a present is easy.
Not when you're on my budget, is it?
It is, trust me.
I'm all ears, Spike. Okay. I'm taking bets right now. Who wants to bet that after Spike is done, it's going to be Rarity who got Spike?
Any takers?
Clasped his hands together and looked around the room. Everything here, from floor to ceiling, looked homemade or home repair.
The thing about Twilight is that she really loves gifts that say a lot about the pony they came from. Back when we were living in Camelot, the only Spike gifts Twilight ever wanted from Princess Celestia were getting to spend extra time talking with her, or some dusty old book from her study. I like to bargain too, Sugar Cube, but I'm fresh out magic books. I haven't ruled Equestria so once as a day either. That's not what I mean. Twilight wanted that stuff because it was special to Celestia, and that made it special to Twilight. What Twilight really loves isn't books. It's learning and getting closer to ponies while she does it. That used to be just Celestia and the ancient ponies she read about. But now it's all of us. She loves something related to Ponyville or Earth Pony history. Just find a dusty heirloom, explain why it's important. She'll go nuts! Applejack pushed the bowl aside. Well, lights don't like anything else, Bat. Thanks. Spike dragged his fork against the now empty plate, gave a deep sigh. You're welcome. What's wrong, Zookeep? You just saved me a whole lot of worry. Not to mention blades. I did think you had Twilight's name. I came out here so I could trade you for Rarity. Applejack laughed. Guess I can't blame you for one that. Sorry, don't like her name. But if I rate all of friends' reactions right, I could point you in the right direction. Spike jumped up. Really? You know who has Rarity's name? Applejack cocked an eyebrow and smiled. I reckon I do. Chapter 3. Evening Firewood. Applejack had it all wrong, as did every pony else. Spike stopped for a moment to pant. His legs had found some way to burn and shiver at the same time. He couldn't decide what was worse, the fading sunlight, the plummeting temperatures, or the ever-deepening snow. Once the sun set, he would have visibly blown the entire day walking around Ponyville. He finally knew he had Rarity's name, albeit by process of elimination, did anyone actually giving him a useful clue. By virtue of visiting 3 ponies instead of one like he had planned, he knew it all. Twilight was giving him a book. Applejack was giving Twilight some sort of historical relic. Rainbow Dash was getting Pinkie Pie a new party can. Pinkie Pie was getting Applejack a set of pie pans filled with pie-flavored candy. Yum! And he was supposed to get Fluttershy something. This left Fluttershy with a gift for Rarity, and Rarity with a gift for Rainbow Dash. Why couldn't he have just drawn Rarity's name from the start? Why did he have to go on a grand tour of Ponyville and waste deep snow? He paused on Fluttershy's doorstep to rub his frozen hands together. Once the numbness in his claws turned back to dull pain, he reached up and knocked on the door. He'd never been so cold, but it was absolutely worth it. Now all he had to do was go inside, as Fluttershy to do a 3-way name tag with him and Twilight, go home to inform Twilight of her role in his master plan. Tomorrow morning, or possibly afternoon, considering how tired he felt, he'd buy Rarity the best heart-warming present ever. She beats the surprise. Maybe she'd even give you a thank-you kiss. Quiet, but a single sneeze banished all thoughts of romance. He put his hair to the door. Fluttershy?
Come in,
She replied. Spike opened the door and stepped inside. The carpet floor was covered in discarded tissues, rendering it just as white as snow outside. Fluttershy was curled up on her couch, nestled between the mounted tissues and what appeared to be an unfinished blanket knitted out of blue yarn.
Hi, Spike.
You okay? Fluttershy gave a nice sneeze in response. One of the loudest things he ever heard escape her mouth. Achoo! She reached for a nearby tissue and shook her head.
I got a little bit of a cold, but you need something.
She started to push herself off her stinking legs. Spike shook his head and ran forward. That's okay. You don't have to get up. I can make you some tea or... A shiver traveled up his spine. For a moment, he could have sworn that he was still wading through snow. The whole cottage felt just as cold as the wintering evening outside. Fluttershy sneezed again.
Sorry if you're cold. I really need to conserve my firewood so it lasts all winter.
But you're sick!
It's okay. I'm just gonna stay right here, rest till I feel better. It's a good thing I'm knitting this blanket as a heartwarming gift.
Spike looked down at the blanket. The shade of blue was a little off, assuming he was trying to match Rarity's queuing mark. Still, it looked warm and comfortable. Well, it's really nice, Fluttershy. Can I make you some tea? Fluttershy's ears shot up.
Oh, Angel. He said he was gonna make me something, but that was ages ago. Could you take him on me?
Spike ran into the kitchen. Angel, you okay? Do you need me too? He tried not to laugh, but only succeeded by crossing both hands over his mouth. Angel was standing at the base of the oven, right in front of the hearth, ineffectually rubbing 2 sticks together with his soot-covered paws. The death glare he gave Spike looked more than enough to get a fire going. Need a little help, Angel? Angel balled up his tight fist and tried to look menacing. Hey, I'm just trying to help. I left Fluttershy to get better too. Angel pointed at a tea kettle on top of the stove, to a pack of matches resting on a shelf high above. I'll take care of that. Stand back. One blast of Spike's fire breath brought the tea kettle to a whistling boil. Angel shook his head, pointing again. What? The kettle's hot now. I can carry it and everything. Spike hopped up on a nearby stool, then to the stovetop. He stared out at Spike and pointed once again, this time clearly at the stove. Spike touched his hand in front of it. The only spot that wasn't stone cold was where his own fire had warmed it. Of course it's cold. You didn't light the firewood enough. Angel slapped himself in the forehead and gave the stove a kick. A hollow ringing sound emanating from the hearth finally clued Spike in. Knelt down, looked at the empty spot where the firewood was supposed to go. So you've been trying to light a stove with no firewood in it? Is the wood too heavy for you or something? Angel nodded, but was paused to get it from him, and pantomimed swinging something around. Then he stood up straight and deliberately fell backward. Spike sighed. You want me to chop down a tree for firewood? That's a ton of work. That's why Pony says buy the stuff, Angel. Fluttershy has to have some firewood around here somewhere. Well, there is that Sam Elliott pony. Angel hopped up and down on the stove and waved his paws, clearly disappointed with Spike's sudden rummaging through the kitchen cabinets. Finally, Spike threw open a wide, floor-to-ceiling door with a net to the black window. The firewood label next to the handle should have been his first clue. Aha! I knew she had some! He didn't know what to say. Just like Applejack's pantry, the cabinet was either bare or not fully stocked. Small bundles of logs, each with barely enough to ward off a winter's afternoon, were tied up with yarn and labeled with little strips of paper. Press a claw against the dainty writing in the nearest paper label. Each little paper had a date on it. Only student that today's firewood rotation was now nothing more than soot. This is all Fluttershy has? She wasn't kidding about saving it so it lasts all winter. Angel jumped in front of the dwindling firewood supply, stared Spike down. He repeated the tree-chomping pantomime with one paw, while the other pointed at the door. Spike winced. He already felt numb just thinking about performing hard labor out in the cold. Still, arguing with the bunny wasn't going to make the cottage any warmer. Fine, I'll find some firewood outside. You get Fluttershy's tea ready. Angel nodded. That was the closest he ever come to having a civil conversation. 2 hours later, Spike collapsed in Fluttershy's easy chair. A survey Angel's in his hard work. A fire crackling merrily in the hearth, thanks to no smart as several blasts of fire breath fell to a tree, sensitive to the logs, and finally convinced the icicle-laden wood to catch fire. Fluttershy had now 2 winters' worth of firewood at least. Angel hopped up into the room with a warm blanket in his forelegs. He shot Spike a look, which could have been anything from simple tolerance to genuine approval. He offered the blanket to Fluttershy. The heat alone seemed to have done wonders for her. She was seated upright with a basin of hot water in front of her, a mug of tea in her lap, a quilt draped over her back. The mounds of used tissues were gone, thanks to Angel. In their place was a small waste basket that Fluttershy hadn't even filed halfway. Fluttershy glanced up and saw Angel holding out the blanket.
Oh, that's all right, Angel. I feel warm and snug already. Maybe Spike would like it?
Angel gave Spike another look, studied the blanket for a moment and held it out to him. Spike's jaw dropped. This couldn't be the real Angel. The real one. The bunny that only ever treated Fluttershy nicely, at least on occasion, must have been replaced with some sort of Chaisley replicant. He took the offered blanket all the same. Thanks, Angel. We made a good team, right? Angel crossed his forelegs to give a small nod. Fluttershy giggled.
You certainly did. I feel so much better already, thanks to the 2 of you.
Angel's previously lipped ears perked up. He gave what looked like to be an actual smile. Spike at last felt at ease. Everything was getting back to normal. I'm glad you're doing better now, Fluttershy. Why didn't you come and ask for some of your friends to help when you got sick? Fluttershy looked down to the water basin.
I really should have. I know you're all so busy, though. I wouldn't have wanted to ruin my surprise.
Her gaze drifted down to the unfinished knitting project.
I guess you know who it's for. Do you think you'll like it?
Are you kidding? What boy would love a Hall of Fame blanket? I know Rarity's a seamstress and everything, but she's going to love... Her ears shot up.
Rarity?
Well, yeah. You're trying to match Sir Cutie Mark, aren't you? Fluttershy stared at him for a moment. Finally shook her head.
No. Didn't you see the pattern?
Before she could even move an inch, Angel darted forward and retrieved the blanket for her. It started to infold as he carried it, and at last Spike realized what he had missed. Right in the middle of the solid blue expansive yarn was the beginning of a rainbow-colored lightning bolt. Spike's jaw dropped. But Rainbow Dash? Fluttershy nodded.
I'm so worried when I drew her name. She always acts so tough, but cloud houses get especially cold in the wintertime.
I get that and everything, but... He hung his head.
Spike, what's wrong? You're not getting sick too, are you?
No, I just don't understand what... Then he did. He jumped to his feet. I'm glad you're feeling Fluttershy, but I need to go. Fluttershy nodded.
Thanks so much for coming to see me, Spike. Is there anything I could do for you?
That's okay. You just rest. Rainbow Dash is going to love that blanket. You got everything here covered, right, Angel? Angel stood up straight and saluted. But gave him a thumbs up. Great, I got one more stuff to make. Okay, still having bets that Rarity drew Spike's name and Twilight drew Rarity's. Okay, I got this running bet going on. Let's find out if I'm right tomorrow.